What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy P. Skip. Welcome to the best half hour of your entire Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time to get into his course. My squad with me, T-Mac.
Hola.
Chili Will.
Gracias, amigo.
Let's do this.
Hey, let's get into this. Matthew chapter 12, starting at verse 33, reading this out of Amplified, it says this. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. For a tree is recognized and judged by its fruit. You brood of vipers, how can you speak good things when you are evil? For the mouth speaks out of which fills the heart. A good man from his inner good treasure brings out good things, and an evil man from his inner evil treasure brings out evil things. But I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give an account for every careless or useless word they speak. For your words reflect your spiritual condition, and you will be justified or acquitted of the guilt of sin, and by your words rejecting me, you will be condemned and sentenced. Now, I said that because recently, LeBron has been in the media for everything other than what he's normally in the media for. You know, LeBron is always the media darling, but recently he got into a skirmish with a Detroit player, a Detroit Piston player, where LeBron elbowed him across the eyebrow, and the young man ended up getting 6 to 8 stitches. LeBron says it was accident. But the young man was like, every time I look at it, it was intentional. And he went after LeBron. So in the midst of the skirmish,
he faked went after LeBron.
Well, we can go with that too.
Yeah.
Even in his faking, he got 2 games, and he never hit anybody. He never touched LeBron, never touched anybody from the Lakers team or coaches. It was only his players restraining him. He never swung one punch, got 2 games. LeBron, who did hit and hit above the shoulders, was suspended one game. For the life of me, I don't understand that. And I do get that how the NBA is set up, you know, how they find folk. But I think what it was more than anything is they just didn't like the reaction to the king, that somebody did not back down from him, did not let him get away with whatever he wants to get away with, and called him on the carpet about it. You know, and so now you hear certain people.
Now you know, me and you vehemently disagree on this.
And I'm
on the exact opposite end of it.
And I'm gonna let you have your piece. Mm-hmm. But I'm hearing from the 4-letter word station that, hey, the reason why they find that kid the way they find him is because he's making the brand of the NBA look bad.
That is correct.
You're messing up our money. So you mean to tell me one incident where a guy pushes because he's upset, because blood is dripping down his face, all in his eye, like this was a boxing match, I got sucker punched, and my reaction was to get to do it, and y'all never let me do it. But I get fined 2 games? You know, so I'm going to let you get into that, and then we'll get into some more shenanigans.
Well, he lucky I wasn't the one making the call, because he would have got more than 2 games. Because number one, this is not an AAU game. This is not warning. You are a professional, and we're paying you big money to represent our brand. So you don't get to act like you in the alley, or you had a crap game with gang members. You got to act civil and have some reasonable amount of civility when you participating. Now, I get it. You was upset because you was bleeding. And I'm gonna tell you the only thing that I give the guy the benefit of the doubt on is that he was young. He's only 20 years old. You know, so I give him the benefit of that. You and I both got children older than him. So, right. You know, we understand, you know, he's young, and, you know, you haven't seen enough Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We get that. But if you look at the whole incident, and I'm sure you have several times, it's a few things that went on that was uncalled for on his part. Number one, they were at a free throw, and LeBron was closer to the free throw line than he was. So he shouldn't have really even been blocking out LeBron. LeBron should have been blocking out the shooter, and he should have been trying to get the rebound. So he should have been into it with the guy on his left, not LeBron. So at that point, LeBron is standing there and he got his elbow underneath LeBron's armpits, pushing LeBron up. And LeBron's pretty much saying like, dude, what is you doing? This ain't necessary. And went to swing to knock his hand down, missed his hand and caught him. He bleeding, and LeBron go to him and say, hey, I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. At that point, him and LeBron was face to face. Now, if he wanted to do something to LeBron, that was his opportunity to do it. He did not. He waited till some people got in between him and LeBron and all that. Then now all of a sudden, he want to get at him. Well, you had your chance to get at him if you wanted to get at him. So in my mind, the amount of fights and skirmishes that I done saw, and you done saw too, coming up.
Right.
If you want to get LeBron, you truly want to get LeBron, your opportunity to get him was to get him then. You didn't get him then. Okay, now people breaking you up and you swinging and throwing 50, 60-year-old men that's on your staff on the ground, going through them like you a wild bull. You acting like you out of control, like you an animal. And my thought in my mind when I saw the whole thing was, well, if he gets to LeBron, what is he going to do to LeBron? What was he going to do? Knock LeBron out? Body slam LeBron? No, you're a professional. You can't do neither one of those things. So the whole idea of him acting wild and crazy and out of control is the reason why he got the fines. If it would have stopped at, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, LeBron might have got a fine. He probably wouldn't have got anything, and we would have went on with it. But because he made that big spectacle and acting like he's out of control and the devil is in him and all of this stuff, he 2 or 3 different instances, he broke away from the crowd, the security, to try to get at LeBron. If you look at the video real closely, he was wild and going out of control. Then he ran up on DeAndre Jordan, and you notice he stopped until people started grabbing him. Then he started acting like he wanted to get loose. He didn't want to run up on DeAndre Jordan. So I've seen this, and you've seen this throughout our life, people who are selectively crazy. They're not really crazy. They selectively crazy. And to me, that was a prime example of it. And I just thought that it was a black eye on a profession. It was unnecessary. LeBron James is not a dirty player. He didn't mean to bust your, he said he was sorry. We could have left it at that. I think the only reason why LeBron got fined is because he was LeBron James. So like I said, you and I are on the opposite ends of this.
Right.
If it would have been anybody else other than LeBron James, they wouldn't have gotten fined. The league had to find LeBron James because they didn't want people to look at it the way you looking at it, like, oh, LeBron James is the golden child. He get away with stuff. So they had to give him a fine. So they gave him 1 game. But if it would have been anybody other than LeBron James, if that would have been Giannis, that would have been Chris Middleton, they wouldn't have got fined at all because really LeBron didn't do nothing. People get hurt and blood come out of them all the time in the NBA. That ain't nothing unusual. Last night I was watching the Bucks game. Pat Connaughton got busted in the head and blood was coming out of him. They taped him up. He went back in the game. Nobody got, no. That's not unusual. What's unusual is the reaction that young man had. And to me, he should have got more than 2 games. I thought he should have got at least 3 games, maybe 4.
One of the things I do know about the NBA is anytime anybody gets hit above the shoulders, it's automatic ejection.
Right.
He got hit in the face.
Right.
LeBron was getting ejected. Now
right. He got ejected. He did get ejected.
I think the severity of the blood, I think, which would have caused him to be fined anyway. Just my thought, But the other piece is,
but the guy who made Pat Connaughton bleed last night, and Giannis was bleeding twice last night in the game.
Right.
Neither one of those guys got fined or kicked out of the game. So blood can't be the indicator because Pat Connaughton had blood gushing out of him. Nobody got fined. The thing that escalated it was the behavior of the young man.
But here's the other thing that I don't think anybody noticed. Well, how come nothing happened to Westbrook? Because Westbrook squared up.
Yeah, but he didn't hit nobody. He just balled his fist up and he didn't hit nobody.
But what's the difference? That boy didn't hit nobody either.
I know, but he didn't get fined for hitting somebody. He got fined for the spectacle that he put on, like he was a wild raging bull, and he was.
I get all that.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, he just made it look like. First of all, let's be totally honest here. It's a whole lot of people that think that that's typical behavior of Black males. That's what they think. They animals. They wild. They out of control. Can't nobody control them. And here he is personifying that on national TV. It's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for the NBA. It's not a good look for his team. It's not a good look for his parents, his community. So he just was putting a black eye all in the game. Look, what LeBron never got excited. LeBron went on about his business. Wasn't nobody restraining LeBron. LeBron, if it would have been anybody else other than LeBron, that person would not have gotten the fine. The NBA had to fine LeBron so they could avoid people saying that LeBron is getting some type of preferential treatment or some special treatment. Otherwise, like I said, if it had been anybody else in the league, he wouldn't have got fined. They wouldn't have got fined. Really, it was nothing to fine LeBron about. It was an accident. It happens all the time.
Now, let me ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we playing in the streets, if we on the playground, and you boxing somebody out, and they hit you across your eye and you bleed.
Yeah.
Are you responding like that kid? Or are you just going to be like,
Well, that's what
I'm sorry, we all good?
He responded like he was at the playground in a street game. You're not. You're in the National Basketball Association, which is a professional corporation, and they're paying you millions of dollars.
Right. To not do
that. If you on the streets, yeah, you supposed to act like that because it's a whole different street creed that go on, respect and all of that on the streets. But in the NBA, oh no, you're not supposed to do that, man. You really, we've never seen anybody just, act that foolish.
Let me say this. I think the reason why they did what they did, because they did not want another Malice in the Palace thing. Because remember, it was in Detroit again.
But that's another thing too. The way he was acting, you got kids, senior citizens sitting in the front row who are our biggest clients. They paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to sit in them seats, if not more. We don't want you spilling onto them. You a big old dude. These other cats big. We don't want the Malice in the Palace thing going on. So we have to send some type of signal. To me, the signal wasn't loud enough. 2 games for him acting like that. They should have gave him a game for each time that they calmed him down and he bust back out. That's another game. If he'd have bust back out one more time, that's another game. Dude, you're not crazy. You're not an animal. You're not out of control. You're not dying. You're not in harm's way. You're not at risk. There's no reason for you to behave this way. None.
Mm-hmm.
None. Zero.
I hear you. Speaking of LeBron, man, he's had a bad week.
He continued last night, but yeah, he had a bad week.
And I think, part of it, LeBron's frustration with the team. I think he's extremely frustrated with the Lakers right now. But also, LeBron recently had a couple of fans ejected, I think from Indiana, right? The Indiana?
Yeah, it was in Indianapolis, yeah.
Yeah, where they started talking about his son.
Yes.
Just saying some foul stuff about his son. So, by your words, you'll stay in these seats, or by your words, you'll be kicked out of this gym.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was good that LeBron pointed it out and they put those people out. Even when they was leaving, to me, that's just white privilege has gone too far. Really, the stuff, you've heard what they said.
Oh, yeah.
I heard what they said.
Right.
That's way out of line and across the line. And like I know, they wouldn't say that to LeBron if they was out on the streets.
Oh, no.
They wouldn't say that LeBron somewhere where LeBron could actually do something to them. They know that white privilege is protecting them. And they normally in the past have been able to get away with that. Right. This particular time, and now that's not being tolerated. And even when they was leaving, they even weren't remorseful. The lady was still calling LeBron a crybaby while she walking out of the thing. Right. Like some of this white privilege is out of control. You get pastor privilege. I get professional privilege. We know what privilege is.
Right.
There's some times where we've been treated a certain way because of who we are, status, or whatever.
Right.
That's part of the game. But you don't get to say and do what they said and did. That ain't allowed nowhere in the game. And I'm glad that they put those people out. And really, I think they should be kicked out, barred from the arena for a while, because most people who sit in the front, you sit, I've seen you sitting in that front row before. People in the front, it's front row etiquette.
Right.
And that's not.
You would act better than the ones in the seats behind you.
No, you in the front row, you are owner, you are a season ticket holder for years, you're a corporation, you're an elected official, you're a big time pastor or something.
Right.
You're part of the greater community. So you can't be out there acting like you from some hick town. Those seats are not for you.
Right.
They're not for you. So I was glad that the NBA, no hesitation, these two, get y'all stuff, y'all gotta go. And that's how it should be, because y'all can't. I mean, that what they said to LeBron, really, that's
that was a threat.
Yeah.
That was a threat.
Yeah, that was a borderline threat, and that's heinous what they're talking about.
So why are you talking about my son?
Well, first of all, how that get in this? What make you think that you need to be? What's cool about that? What's acceptable about that? Who's condoning that? No one.
Right.
The only thing that condone that is that you think because you white and this person is black, that if the police come, they automatically in trouble. And that's how it is in regular society.
Right.
But fortunately for us, you weren't in regular society. If it had been somewhere else and they would have did something like that and the police would have came, LeBron would have got arrested.
Right.
Because white privilege would have kicked in. But in that particular space and time, professional privilege outweighed white privilege, and it trumped white privilege. And it was good to see that for a change.
Yeah, going back to LeBron, oh my goodness. Even after, the suspension of one game, they asked him about the suspension and he said it was BS, and he got fined $15,000 for that. He got fined 50. So, something's happening with the NBA, because there's certain things that the upper echelon in the NBA could say and can do and can get away with. And it seems like some of that privilege is starting to come away from LeBron. And I'm going, okay, we better watch this. We're watching almost like the NBA is trying to get rid of him because they want the new hotness, and they're trying to get rid of the old. They're trying to shift the guards themselves.
What you're seeing before your eyes is the changing of the guard. What you're seeing is because we're starting to realize we can make money off Steph Curry and Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Joker, and we don't need LeBron to be the big hottest ticket anymore.
Right.
Some of the professional privilege that he's enjoyed over the times is starting to level out a little bit, and they don't want it to seem like they're being biased in favor of LeBron. So therefore, they're taking this opportunity. I mean, $15,000 to LeBron, that's like 0.001 cent to me or you.
Right.
So it's not any money.
Right.
But just the symbol of it and the whole idea of that we're not biased and we're treating people the same is becoming a more important point, because they don't need LeBron as much for ratings and for ticket sales as they did in the past.
Right. Speaking of the Lakers, you a Laker Buck fan. What do you think is wrong with them right now? What do you think? I mean, I said I don't think this experiment's going to work. I said I don't see how Westbrook can go from being a leader to the third guy and be able to fit correctly in this team. And I'm not necessarily saying it's him, but it doesn't seem like either the way the offenses ran, their schemes, something that just doesn't seem like it fits who Westbrook is within the scheme of this team. What do you think is going on with the Lakers? And I'm not just saying him, but the way they're losing, they never expected to lose like this. The
Well,
way
it's a couple things that's going on with the Lakers, and it's going on with several teams. You look at Denver with the amount of injuries that they have. They got three leading players is out right now. You look at the Bucks, how they were getting hammered in the beginning of the year when they had their three of their starters, four of their starters out. Giannis was the only starter that was playing.
right,
Even Senso was out, Middleton was out, Lopez was out, and
true,
and the point guard he was out, and they got four. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 new players who
right,
don't know the system, ain't played together, and Bobby Portis was out earlier in the year. So
Sure.
those injuries play a big part of it. I think what's happening with the Lakers, number one, they've had several injuries and people out. But I think when they get Trevor Ariza, who's known for defense, and their problem is defense. When they get Trevor Ariza back, who can play very good defense, they get LeBron back, who's a good defensive player. And then what's the guy they got from Miami? The guard, the shooting guard. I forgot his name. But when they get him back, he's someone who can shoot the ball. He can shoot the ball really well.
Yeah.
And they're lacking good shooting. I think when they get their whole team together and then they can put the chemistry set together, I think probably around a little bit after All-Star break, you're going to start seeing the Lakers rounding into shape and into form. Even now with the Bucks, the more people get healthy, the more they can get a regular rotation, the more they can rest Giannis and bring them in a regular time slot. Like Giannis was playing 5 earlier this year.
right.
And Giannis was like, I can't do it. So they had to put Bobby Portis at 5 because Giannis was like, I ain't no 5. I can't handle it. So I think the Lakers are going through a part of that. And once they get through all that and get that all worked out, I think the Lakers going to be fine. I think they're going to be in the top 5 in the West, maybe even the top 4, because when you look at Denver, the problems they're going to have, and then other people going to have injuries as we go through the year.
Right.
Right now, Ja Morant just got hurt.
Right.
So, the injuries play a huge role on you being able to do and function the way you do, and then getting new players. The Lakers got 8 new players.
Yeah.
So they just got to, once they get together and whip into form, I think they'll be as good as they need to be.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Bucks, and I'm looking at how Giannis, you can tell he's out of position and he's out of shape because he's got dead legs.
Yeah, he does have dead legs.
He's
He has
got
no lift. He
none.
has no lift. And a lot of times on the court, you see him, they'll call timeout, and
Right.
he have to stop and get rest before he even walk over to the bench.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's out of shape. And they need to work on his cardio. But, they're going to have to get a backup center because there's no way we're going to repeat without one. And it's very obvious that the length that the Bucks had made a huge difference going through the playoffs. But it can't be relied simply on Giannis and Brook Lopez because that's not going to make it, especially, again, with a back injury. You don't know how much Brook you're going to get. You don't know what Brook you're going to get. And you don't know what he can take.
Yeah, when it's going to flare up again.
Right. You just don't know. And so they need to make some sort of moves to get a backup center before the deadline because this seems like this could be chronic and you got to have a stopgap because, again, if this goes to the playoffs and Giannis has to play center, we're in trouble.
Well, I think
Bobby Portis has to play center.
Well, yeah, Bobby Portis is not athletic enough to play center. He's going to be foul prone. He
He's also not tall enough.
Huh?
He's not tall enough either.
No, he's not tall enough, but you can fake him. He go for fakes real easy. So you can fake him and get him in foul trouble. But I think DiVincenzo, when he come back, he's going to be good trade bait. And we're going to be able to trade him.
He played yesterday.
He didn't play yesterday.
He did. He played yesterday. Yep.
Okay. No, he didn't play yesterday.
Played last night against who they played? Denver.
They played Denver.
Against Denver. I think he had 13 points.
No, I watched the game. He didn't play. Did you see the game? I watched the game.
I watched the game and I saw him on the court.
I saw him, but I thought he was in street clothes. But we'll check the facts. But when he come back, he's going to be good trade bait because obviously they're not going to pay him because they already paid Grayson Allen.
Right.
They already gave him a contract. So that's his position, and this is his rookie contract, and this is his chance to get paid big money. And the Bucks not going to pay him big money, so he's probably going to be trade bait, which is unfortunate because, man, he's a tough dude, and he does everything. And if his jumper is working, his defense is good, he rebounds well. You know, he's a really, really good player. But the same thing happened when we had Brogdon. You know, we couldn't afford him, and I don't think we can afford that luxury.
Yeah, you know, I'm just trying to figure out. I really think DiVincenzo is going to be the man out.
Yeah.
I think he is. I think, and I don't necessarily think this Ojale thing is working either.
Well, that's another thing that we got to wait to see because Ojale he hurt. Last night he didn't play because he was hurt. You got to wait till people get healthy. Even the point guard, he's still hurt. He got to get back health. He's not all the way healthy.
Drew?
So, huh?
Drew.
Drew Holiday, he's not all the way healthy. So you got to get people back healthy, you know, and then you can evaluate better. But Ojale been hurt the whole year. And what's his name too? The other guard we got, Rodney, what's his name? Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood been hurt a lot of the year. So I think Ojale gonna pay big dividends for us when it comes playoff time and crunch time. But he's got to learn the system. He's got to learn the players. He's got to get healthy. He got to know where he fit in and where he don't fit in. He looks terrible at the beginning of the year. But I think towards the end of the year, he's going to get himself together and he's going to be a big asset to us when we go to war. I think he's going to be a good player for us when we go to war.
I hope so. Listen, man, what do you think of the way Brooklyn looks right now?
Quiet as it's kept, Brooklyn only done lost, 5 games?
Yeah.
They only lost 5 games. I think Golden State lost 3 games.
Yeah.
And I think Phoenix has lost 4 games.
Yeah.
So
Phoenix is the hottest team in the league right now.
Right. And they playing.
Golden State is like maybe second.
Yeah, Golden State is I think Phoenix is on like a 14-game winning streak, but they play Brooklyn coming up very soon.
Right.
So we're gonna have a showdown to see who's what. But they play Brooklyn coming up very soon. So it's gonna be interesting. Golden State looked well. Klay Thompson is actually full practice now. He's just really got to get in conditioning, but he's about to come back.
Right.
It's getting, you know, Luka been out for a while and he got to get back. It's a lot of injuries, man. A lot of people got to come back and get healthy.
Yeah.
But once everybody get healthy and everybody get all their people, the NBA gonna be a serious dogfight.
Right. I get it. Well, listen, another great show. We'll see you same time next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Right here, Joy 1340 AM, 98.7 FM. The #1 faith-based sports talk show in the entire world. Every Tuesday from 7 to 7:30 into his courts. Until next week, have an amazing week. Peace.